And we are live from Lamont, Illinois for your Division I Northern Super Regional semifinal matchup between Chicago Northshore and Utah Vipers. My name is Lance Kavanaugh, and I am joined in the booth by the Hall of Famer herself, Darian Lovelace. And Darian, we're talking about two powerhouse teams, Utah Vipers, last year and most recent national D1 champions, versus a powerhouse here in the nation, pretty much at a home matchup with Chicago Northshore. You got to be excited for this match.
I've been ecstatic over the games that have happened throughout the day, but this has been the one that I've been looking forward to be in the booth and to watch these two programs unfold. Chicago Northshore now is taking the field. They'll be in the green against the Utah Vipers. I've had the pleasure of, meeting these teams, playing with some of them, riding alongside of them. So now to see them come out and be able to show their story after going through rigorous seasons between the two of them is something to be really excited for. I'm just excited to see how it unfolds.
Appreciate it.
Both of these sides will be orchestrated by the referee in the middle, Dan. And Dan has been working in the landscape of USA Rugby for a number of years. One of the more experienced refs here in the Midwest area. It's good to have him in the center with the Vipers, who stand firm in the purple. A dominating team full of players who can terrorize a ball of hand, strong defensive prowess, and an absolute flair for the flair here in this game of rugby, versus Chicago Northshore, who has touched every code of rugby throughout the United States, have shown themselves to be the stronger, or one of the stronger sides here in the nation.
Green captain.
This round of 8 match quarterfinal for nationals is going to be an absolute brute. I look forward to seeing how this match goes.
Ready.
And with the Vipers kicking off from your left to right, Chicago Northshore in the green from your right to left, we are underway. Ball over the head, but controlled and contained, and now Chicago Northshore first on attack. Tackle shrugged off, and dragged and carried. And just like that, Chicago has established themselves right inside of the 22 with another strong carry. And you can see how these Vipers will contest in these rucks. They will bring physicality in the tackle. As this game goes on, we're going to see a side of the women's game that I love, expansive play as Chicago Northshore plays to the edge. Tackle made here, and look at Utah over the ball, but not rolling away as the call.
Purple number 4.
Yeah, it looks
Now
like
Chicago
looks like that was Brewster that got caught underneath for just a split second there. As we take a look back, just kind of getting tossed to the side. She really has to soak that contact that comes in from Williamson on Chicago Northshore there. So she's slow to get back on her feet, and so we'll reset for the kick.
Inside.
Ball played out of touch, and now we have the first line out of the game. And you know, beautiful thing about this Chicago Northshore side, strong history here in the USA, but a feeder team to that WER side. The Tempest of multiple players filtering in and out as we get our first line out. Ball knocked directly down, and Utah will maintain possession and with their first bit of attack. And you can hear through that ref microphone the sound of that physical approach by Utah. We're going to see a lot of hard charging runs throughout this match, including that shove there, as Utah is going to establish themselves through physicality. Ball played out, and behind the back pass, right to hand, but a great counter tackle, taking that flair moment and bringing the energy right back to this Utah Viper side. They won nationals through physical play, but opportunistic defense and making the most of their breaks on offense. Can't wait to see how this game progresses as we have another forward crash by the Vipers. Ball played out wide, backwards says the referee, and we'll play on.
Head contact.
High tackle called against Northshore. And safety is so paramount in this game of rugby. We have our first foul play penalty here.
Willie does a good job of just dropping the shoulder. She knows that Chicago Northshore is going to be flying up in the line there, and it's just the head gets kind of caught underneath, and it's smart play. It's very sacrificial to go ahead and leave the body on the line here as we take another look. Willie's got to go ahead and give a look up there. Dropping the shoulder is what's going to get you that possible penalty of considering going high, even though she technically went low. And so now we'll get our first piece or our first taste of the set piece.
Thank you.
Yes, the defender's responsibility to keep the tackle safe. And that ball is knocked on by Northshore, so we'll have more go forward by the Vipers, able to drag a few defenders forward. Pick and go. Puts them ever so close. They're creeping closer to the try line with every phase.
Green number
Players
2.
not
Never onside.
Players not getting out of the ruck. Offsides caught, and again, another strong carry. As now Utah sets up on the edge. Quinnett moves the ball in again. The Vipers inside of the 5-meter line, and just look after first contact how much meters they gain. Able to bring a physical element to the game as Dallas McKee is grabbed and pulled, tackled right around the 5-meter line. See Northshore players trying to roll away. Crushing run and a great tackle by Northshore. Might have a chance to steal, but the Vipers are able to keep possession as now they play the ball out.
Ooh.
The Queen almost getting all the way in and through, but dragged down just short. And with the fourth strong carry held up is Kelly, who has been so dangerous with ball in hand, moving players left and right, as we'll now have a goal line dropout.
And this is what we've been talking about all day. She does a beautiful job of getting that space with the shoulder, but then that's whenever you have to drop the body height. She gets caught way too high, Tatiana Kelly. It's just unfortunate because the Vipers now are starting to string together some phases, but it just allows Chicago Northshore to pin them a little bit farther back.
And with a head of steam, another crushing ball carry.
Always upright.
And a high tackle called after being bounced, which you don't see often. And Utah goes for the quick tap. Malu able to get close, but not close enough. Tackle just short of the try line. And again, the Vipers find themselves in dangerous territory. Pinning Northshore on the heel of their own try line. Green moves the ball, left foot step, looping overhand. Tavita able to get the offload away, and here comes Kelly again, driving and grinding forward, so close to that try line. Dangerous again for the Vipers. Ball played out. That pass, double skip to get it to the edge. Can the ball be played and kept in bounds? It does. As you see, Delzy trying her best to plant her feet and keep the ball in bounds, but obstruction.
Marcus here. Time is up. Captain. Yeah, we've got
Take another look back. It looks like referee not happy with the body height.
Have a quick word. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, again, Willie just dropping the shoulder there. If you know that you're going to take contact, it's important to go ahead and do that. It gives an obvious picture to the ref that the tackler doesn't have control, and that's really what they're looking for there. Barry just slides into that tackle, and with Willie dropping the shoulder, she draws a second penalty, and referee just still unhappy with the body height. They're going to have to fix it.
Going quick tap, and look at the power in that run. The Vipers are back in that same position inside the 5. Kelly again, multiple defenders from this Northshore side forced to get a part of that tackle. And now there's space on the top of your screen. Can they get it all the way to the edge? They do. Falling into the try line, and just like that, Malu goes in the score, and the Vipers are all offense, all high octane here.
Oh, this ball movement is so pretty and so seamless here. It's about near perfect. The pin and pass is really what happens here, but also the speed. As soon as Tumalatai gives it to Sosi, right over the top goes Mailu, and you just see what it means for them to get the first 5 on the board here. Lance, this looks like it's going to be some brutal stuff. The Vipers are going to continue striking. They're going to continue to pummel Chicago Northshore. Chicago Northshore, I think, are getting a little bit nervous about the top part with them having ball in hand, but they've got to drop the body height and start getting them quicker to ground. It's going to hurt the higher the body height gets for Chicago Northshore.
And that conversion's no good. Gives us a 5-0 score line. And you know you're going to be met with a physical side. Hold on.
And it looks like you can hear the fans there coming in hot from all different angles. I mean, I think that they probably showed up and rolled deep to the game.
As we'll have a kickoff here over the top. And the ball contained by the Vipers, squeaking outside of the 22. And that line from Kelly, multiple defenders forced to be a part of the tackle, but ball stripped out in the tackle.
Yep.
And Purple able to get it back, says the referee, as we'll have our early penalty here in this matchup, Darian.
We'll have to take a look at it because everything honestly happened so fast there. We see Miller strip the ball away, but I've got to say, I don't know if I fully agree with this call here. It looks like Mylao loses her feet and dives over the top there, but the picture that the referee was seeing was just maybe a wrong angle, just wasn't able to see that bit of contest, and so now the Vipers go ahead and kick to touch.
And that line out puts them past the 50-meter and into Chicago Northshore territory. Slim 5-0 lead. But so much they can be hopeful for here, as they've had the physical edge here in this matchup. Ball played out, and now the Vipers will continue to press forward. Ball looped, able to be gathered and collected.
Working through the phases are the Vipers.
And that knock on there gives Chicago Northshore a bit of confidence, able to keep the Vipers from really pushing.
Looks like a player just a little bit slow to get up there for Chicago Northshore. Looks like she might have taken an awkward tumble, so she might go ahead and stroll to the sideline there, see if she can touch base, but referee gonna have to discern if she's all good to go. Might have a replacement coming on for Emily Tooney.
Big drive, Vipers, let's go! Big drive! Please stop! Hold that down!
As we get into a scrum down here, Chicago Northshore poised to get on attack, have been taking carnage from this Utah Viper side early in this match, and that scrum, powerful by the purple, as now Chicago Northshore tries around the corner. Tackle made just past the 50-meter line. And now Chicago being pushed back. Look at that line speed, but high tackle called.
Purple number 6.
We have multiple high tackles called here early in this match, Darian.
I think both teams know that Chicago Northshore and the Utah Vipers alike, they can move the ball and they both like to offload. They're looking for those pinch lines off of each other. They've got some really good support lines, but just not able to drop the body height. I think the more that they worry about stopping the momentum of the ball, the more penalties they're going to rack up. Dropping the body height is going to be crucial here. We're only about 11 minutes in, and we've already had Chicago Northshore get a chat, as well as now the Vipers. And so both teams are going to have to fix that bad habit.
Look at where we are, calm now.
We'll have a line out for Chicago. 5-player line out, choosing to go to the front pod, but stolen by the Vipers. And such a disciplined side on set piece, able to get the strength, fending off multiple players, and now we have a foot race taken past the 10-meter line, and the Vipers are on attack here, running right into the carnage, but the ball is pulled out in the tackle, and Chicago Northshore able to bend but not break, as we'll have a scrum here. What a turn of events.
They needed that knock-on to happen, and it was all set up by a brilliant run by Malu after she bumped off about 3 or 4 defenders here, but these little details matter. We see they're just getting the ball caught underneath the body a little bit awkwardly when you're falling to ground and you're running into a wall of defense. You've got to go ahead and make sure that you get to ground quickly and protect the ball at all costs. But after that dominating scrum, you got to wonder if Chicago Northshore is happy about that.
Fine.
Set pieces is going to be so vital to this match, and Utah has shown their scrum set piece is powerful. And the knee touching the ground forces the referee to call that scrum infraction, long arm penalty. But again, pushing Northshore back in that initial burst.
Purple number 3, dropping.
It's right there on Tatiana Kelly whenever she drops the knee after Chicago Northshore get pushed back. It's right there. As soon as they lose control of this scrum, it becomes a danger, and referee has no choice but to blow it back up. You've got to control your weight there. Just that one little kiss of the knee on the ground is what seals the fate of that scrum, and Chicago Northshore get to go ahead and punch it further down and contest against the Vipers at line out.
First line out by Chicago Northshore, stolen by the Vipers, going with the 5-player line out front pod. Let's see if they switch it up. Add a little bit of deception, a fake jump or something to get these Vipers off balance. Both teams set up for the line out, negotiating their space, trying to figure out how it's going to go. Chicago Northshore goes to the line out. Not straight is the call, as the Vipers have given real threats to the Chicago Northshore side and opting to take the scrum at the 50-meter line.
It's so important. Next time that we get an opportunity to see the Utah Vipers at lineout time, look at where all the eyes are turned. They're turned into the channel. They're watching to see who goes up, and they're sending somebody up in the air. With the law, as long as somebody competes up, you force the hooker to have to make a straight throw, including the pressure at the lineout. So it's a good tool to go ahead and use. Again, it causes a turnover without even having to make contact.
Set.
And we love turnovers here in the game of rugby, as they go pick off the back and devastating carry, dragging defenders. Again, this Utah side has power in bunches, choosing to go weak, confrontational in approach right into the heart of the Chicago Northshore defense. And again, another forward pod approach and another half line break. Kelly on approach, and multiple Northshore defenders forced to get involved as players spill near the ruck. Utah plays it out into space.
Leave it.
That dummy holds up space on the edge, unable to be grabbed and adapted
Release.
cleanly. Sandy able to keep possession. Continues to go forward. As the defensive line speed from Chicago tries to close the door, but it is not enough, as Dallas McKee almost gets to the try zone, dragged down past the 22, ball recycled on the pop, and now we have hard charging runs by the Vipers, a bit isolated but still able to retain possession are the Vipers of Utah. Now the space is on the top of your screen, but the dummy and step able to pull more defenders into the middle of the field as the Vipers choose to bounce it back the opposite way. Is the space there on the edge? It is. One move inside, outside, able to get the offload away as Daisley finds the queen herself and almost scored. Big hit by Chicago Northshore, stood up Adriana, but is it enough to keep the Vipers out as the Vipers creep over and fall into the ruck, fall over into the try zone in the first try as Menu goes in to score. And just like that, the Vipers extend that lead.
You can hear these collisions happening from all the way up top here. Oh, my Lanta. That one was a quick one by Cynthia Nixon, just chopping it in half here. But then they continue to go time and time again. The Vipers, the quick strike is really what's getting them off kilter there. Manuel gets over for 5 on the board, more going in favor of the Vipers. And I mean, you can hear the air leaving the players' bodies when they get smacked on the ground. These collisions, both from Northshore and the Vipers, are just demonstrating how physical these teams are trying to be in the semifinal.
And this is the way that they marched their way through the entire landscape of the USA club scene, winning the D1 championship last year, as they did work in Utah. And they did it with physical play and just running aggressive lines. Able to be stopped there. Took 2 defenders to make that tackle, but you need another 2 defenders to make the next tackle. And crawling and climbing over bodies to score that. This Viper side is bringing physicality.
It must be volume on my headset. I'm having a hard time hearing everybody.
And it's just what we want to see in the game. We love the physicality, and this Utah brings it in bunches. As we get for kickoff, we're back at it again. Emma puts the ball up, and Utah able to get clear control of the ball. Offload before being taken out of bounds. And the discipline, scoring the try, so to speak, on that tackle to present it and push some of these Northshore players away further from the ball. They're stepping up to the challenge as Kelly makes a run, devastating earlier in this match. But now it looks like Northshore has figured out a little bit of how to attack it. They're getting low. They're having proper body position on those double tackles as Utah spins the ball. 2 passes, covers 25 meters, and now they have space on the edge. We have a foot race again. Already bringing devastation. It's Dowsey, but Utah continues to resource and retack. That was a big tackle there, able to stop the ball carrier in her tracks. But Utah just reloads back with more hard running forward play. Handed off in the tackle, juking not only Chicago Northshore, but a bit of the cameraman as the ball is made available for Utah. And they resource this ruck properly. Players are down from the Northshore behind the ball. We'll see how the referee chooses to continue as Kelly charges forward again with a strong run. As for the trainer to step on the field, says the referee. And we have a knock-on advantage thanks to the help of our assistant referees. As we said, this game is so vital. As a big run heard through the referee mic. And we're going to stop here as multiple players are down.
Looks like that might have been Nixon who took that pretty hard hit, but I think you're right, Lance. The Chicago Northshore side really figuring out a secret that might work, and that's the double tackles. Double tackles are going to be so crucial, and it would be unfortunate for Nixon to have a seat. Might just have had a hard roll, or just might have gotten a little bit scared there after a big collision happens in the middle. As we take a look, right there we see the contest happen, and play continues on, but it looks like she might have gotten a cleat to the back of the head from the strong legs of Manao.
Okay.
And it seems like trainers deem that she's okay, and she's going to go ahead and walk that one off. But double tackles against this strong Utah Viper side is going to be the only way that I think Chicago Northshore is going to maintain their level of competition. Looks like the Utah Vipers finally commit a penalty.
1 second, okay?
So Chicago Northshore will take their time getting to the mark, and then it looks like they're going to go for the line out so they can stick it to them at the set piece.
And the penalty was called for leading with the elbow in the tackle. As now Emma puts the ball to boot, gets it out of touch. Right around the 30-meter line. No line, but 30-meter mark. As we look back at this replay.
Yeah, you see just dropping the shoulder was Brewster there, and leading with the elbow. It's just illegal, and again, dangerous play here. And with line out, looks like Salt Lake City will go ahead and get their run around.
Okay, I've got original mark here. Okay, 10 meters. Number 9, thank you for listening. Don't make me ask again, please.
Just a lot happening down here. Just not back 10. So sneaky is Wooly there. Leadership of the Utah Vipers. Just knowing when to take the ball, when to draw the penalties, and get extra meters for the team.
As Utah has been shown that they can flip the ball around the field, running a center line and completely breaking down the Chicago Northshore defense on the edge. That dummy gives her a little bit more meterage, but the inside help is able to make the tackle. As now Chicago Northshore has to find defensive strength against the advantage of this Utah side, running forward with intention. Another strong collision. 3 tacklers from Chicago Northshore forced to get involved. As Chicago able to have a driving tackle back, one of their better positive tackles in the match. As they choose to go to the weak side, and again, multiple Northshore defenders forced to be a part of this tackle situation to bring down these ball carriers. Ball played out into the space, and now Utah continues their onslaught. Another high tackle, and this one's going to result in some colors here.
Just had too many high tackles. This is the 4th one. It's a yellow.
Let's go!
Oh, that one hurts, Lance, because right now, if you're Chicago Northshore, you don't want to lose any players. And Sunny, again, I think just gets really nervous about taking the contact up high there. And in that instance, it makes sense to go low, but when the adrenaline's going and you're seeing somebody like Brianna Sosi running at you, it's kind of affect your decision making.
Absolutely, and another charging run around that 5-meter line. It looks like they'll stay infield, not pushed out of touch, and the ball is waiting to be made available as Utah again charging forward. Hannah able to push and drive and continue to push this team back. 14-15 advantage and a 12-0 advantage.
In goal,
and
goal line drop.
And with the reach to try to get in, the referee says it's a knock on Darian. What do you think?
That is most definitely a knock on. There's no denying exactly what that was. Again, some teams throughout the day, we've just seen it be kind of a kryptonite there of just not dropping the body height.
Captain.
Leading with the forearm again might be the call here.
Yeah, that's twice now.
Okay. Oh, so this is the 2nd time one of your ball carriers going into contact has led with the forearm. So we're dealing with the high tackles. We just sent someone off. Yeah, I just need them when they're running with the ball. Open hand is fine. Elbow is not. Okay? Thank you. It was indirect here, so it's a penalty.
Yeah, and I think it's smart for him to go ahead and advocate for that. It's debatable as to if it should have just been a card right from the jump or even the 2nd time around, but he's warned them now, and everybody's going to have to fix it. We've seen 2 different players now for the Utah Vipers lead with the arm. All he's asking for is to just leave an outstretched hand. That's the picture that he's looking for, and the Utah Vipers are going to have to adapt to that.
And that might slow them down just a bit as far as their aggression as ball carriers, but I don't see them stopping them from trying to get over and through the Chicago Northshore defense. Now Chicago able to set themselves up for a line out here. Ball has to be played through the center, but the Vipers are a formidable line out group. And the AR says that went 5, so we'll say play on. That team of referees communicating clearly. And Chicago Northshore finally has an opportunity to attack, finally has ball in hand, and able to get through. Tackle made from the inside, what looks like a great break opportunity for Northshore. As Barber puts them closer, the kick going over the top. Do they have the leg to finish? And diving on is Emma. And Chicago Northshore scores their first try here in this match.
Oh, with the player down, so that's quite the way to get your first 5 there, and it was a team try by Chicago Northshore that got them their first 5 on the board. We'll go all the way back to Miller's line break, or excuse me, that was Ribeiro who gets the line break through the centers there, and from there, this beautiful kick over the top. Hariluk sees some space back there, trust the speed of Farnan, and Farnan's just there to get over the top. Just seems like the speed of McKee, she wasn't expecting there, wasn't in position, and Farnan gets over for the first 5.
Emma Farland played PR7s, has been a feature for this Chicago Northshore team for a very long time. Spent last year at WER, now finds herself trying to kick and add points to the board to give this North Shore team a little bit of closeness in this disadvantage they find themselves in. Kick is up, and it is good. Chicago North Shore down 7-12 against a Utah Viper side that has brought absolute carnage into tackle areas, plays the ball into space, and Utah showing us a very, very, very strong ability to get down the field, but North Shore able to soak in a lot of that pressure and answer back. It's now 12-7.
Yeah, I don't think that McKee was expecting that. We haven't really seen Harula go to boot, and maybe they just haven't been giving her the picture that she wants there. But I think that she recognized that there was space back there, and with an error that was very uncharacteristic for the Utah Vipers, that kickoff doesn't go 10. So we'll have a center scrum for Chicago North Shore.
3 it now. Line out chosen.
And they choose the line out
Ooh,
as
we
their
like
option
that.
here. Yeah, I love when they adventure deep into the ruse. It looks like Chicago North Shore believing in that line out, losing the very first one, but since then have answered back
Half meter
with
off
a few
the line, purple.
intelligent lineouts of their own. And now both teams sets up, and we get ready for Chicago North Shore chance to add to try they just scored and see if they can make things happen.
You may not have 2 receivers. In or out, please.
As the ball is lifted, Chicago North Shore able to keep retention, tap down to the hooker, plays it, and now Chicago North Shore is going to go wide. Tackle made right around the center line, bouncing back to the opposite way. Space was not there, unable to get the ball there, but Chicago North Shore able to resource and get back on attack here. Choosing to go to the boot again. Finding space, ball gather right outside the 22, completely isolated, but able to hold her feet and keep the ball in the advantage of the Utah Vipers, who now have an opportunity to attack here. Tackle made. And now the Vipers able to resource it. Ball bobbled out, so just a little sloppy, but able to clean it up here. As now the Vipers are playing the ball into space. That dummy to set the space, and now able to get it over the top. And this is a side running right into the chest of Emma, but not only scored the try, but made the conversion. And again, back with perfect timing as the Forest charge into that ruck. Utah is bringing the speed and tempo into this attack. Kelly knocking players over. Every time she touches the ball, it takes an absolute legion of the Chicago North Shore side to bring her down. She has been devastating all day to this defense for Chicago North Shore, as Utah is able to play the ball out wide, held up, player on the leg and player holding ball carrier up.
Thank you.
And now the tackle is made. Player not rolling away, but not disrupting play. So referee says play on. Another big collision that Utah wins in effect. And the ball is rolled out. Play back to Kelly, who was unprepared, but able to get the ball away after bringing multiple defenders into the middle of the field. And again, Utah finding space. The dummy is all that the Queen needs to get the space available. And the ball was seen as played out and knocked on. So Utah will continue to keep possession after breaking the line and creeping so close.
Second knock. You need a minute, Captain?
And there was a knock on the back of the ruck, but we'll play the first knock here.
Your head and then her head.
Okay.
Looks like referee just checking in with Woolley after taking a hard knock to the head here. We'll go back and get reset for the scrum. It looks like after a knock on by Etta Mailu, just getting a little bit excited at that half gap and then just took her hands off the ball for a split second. I mean, these hard, strong runners, I think that Chicago North Shore is doing the best that they can, but with the ball handling that's coming out of Quinette, Tumelatai, Pepe, as some would call her. It's reset and ready to rumble. They've got to learn to go ahead and bracket her, especially with those that are lethal with the ball in hand. 2 players on her inside and on her outside is really what's going to stop her from making those line breaks.
As the Vipers able to keep ball out of the scrum, charging forward yet again, continuing to force multiple players from this North Shore side to step up and make the play. Ball flung in the tackle, offload doesn't go to hand, and now North Shore is on attack, but big collision. No forward progress for you. As now again, the Vipers pressing on that edge, and we look like the AR is going to have a bit of a conversation with the referee. Chicago North Shore continues to try to press forward against an unrelenting defense. Line speed was a calling card for this Utah side, and immediately on the charge down, he called advantage over, but it happened in the echo. So now he's going to call the knock on that happened earlier.
Scrum down.
And a saving bit of grace for North Shore here.
Sounded like he called the advantage over, but we'll go ahead and we'll take a look here. Very easy way for Etta to go ahead and get into the space there. It just looks like referee unhappy with the advantage not gained. We'll go back for a reset, and Chicago North Shore will get the ball.
And it's one of those, the ball is kicked, advantage is over. So once he's seen the kick prepared, he was waiting for the kick to call it. Called it a bit early, and unfortunately doesn't work out for the Vipers. They have an actual grievance, but no matter. We're now down the scrum here for North Shore. Let's see what this push looked like in the scrum. North Shore being lifted up and stood up. It was a clean scrum by Utah, and North Shore trying to hold their ground, lifted their hinged at the waist, and the referee calls it.
Oh yeah, there's no attempt to go low on that initial engagement there. Body height is way too high.
We have a big carry again. Chicago being pushed back by these ball carriers from Utah, and the athleticism is just taking a hold of this match. Can they go all the way in the score? Referee is in a position, but again.
Do you have touch? No touch. Held up. Goal line drop.
Held up in the tackle again. Saved at the last hour. Chicago North Shore finds a way to disallow the try here.
Just a good way to get the body under the ball there and be sacrificial in that moment. I mean, if you're anybody, you would not want to get under Apa'au Tati Milo's body height, but some way, somehow, Farnan does and is able to stop them from getting another 5. This is still a very even ball game. Gotta wonder if the yellow card is back on for Chicago North Shore. They're back at full strength, but contest, I mean, really getting up here, and teams are both going to have a lot to talk about when they go back.
Or center.
And this is a really unique moment. The goal line dropout goes straight in the touch, so now the conversation of what progresses next. It's scrum or line out options. And they choose to go with the scrum at the 5-meter line. This is deep. This is deep in referee lore to know this kind of information and to have it prepared when it happens. Rarely do you have goal line dropouts, but when is the goal line dropout put right in the touch? Now you have to figure out what works. Is it a line out at the 5, or do you go scrum center at the 5-meter line? So many questions, and it looks like the Vipers are going to take the scrum center at the 5-meter line here.
Right here.
Crouch.
Together. Squeeze.
Bind.
Oh. Big drop.
Pick it up. Tight head over, loose head under.
Push that.
Just a gentle reminder of the binds for both props on this side. Looks like he's really going to keep an eye on Kelly's bind. She looks to scrum against, looks like Nixon might have had a seat, so we'll get you the name of that replacement in the front row here soon.
Bind. Set.
The ball is put into the scrum, and a massive push by the Vipers. Able to creep closer and closer. Ball played out. And running that inside line back against the grain. Ruck properly resourced as the ball is a little bit chaotic in that ruck, but the Vipers able to keep possession still, falling to the try line, and this time they go in to score. The Vipers of Utah strike again, and you just got to respect the physicality. Stopped on the first contact, but the extra leg drive able to put them over.
Yeah, all with the setup that came in early from, looks like that was Daisy Melee who was able to get over, but it was the support that comes in from not only Brewster, but Captain Woolley to get her over the line, even though there's 3 Chicago Northshore players on top of that ball. 3v3 might get you over the line there, and somehow Melee makes it happen. And Vipers extend their lead. Got about 5 minutes left to go here in this first half. Still an achievable ball game for either side, but the Vipers might have some more positive things to talk about. Northshore is going to have to find some more fixes.
Yeah, Northshore is going to have to depend on explosive plays as they scored on the kick. As the Vipers works the ball down close and grinds their way to multiple tries as this kick goes up. And just short across the face as now we prepare for another kickoff. Chicago Northshore really trying to figure out how to deal with these Viper ball carriers as you look back again here, Darian.
Yeah, they're just so strong when they get going, and then the support comes in just as quickly as the ball carrier takes it into contact. Those 2 players that come over, I mean, even though Melee was the one that scored that try, you've got to go ahead and give it to the team for coming across and supporting each other over the line here. Northshore just getting a little bit disconnected at times, and then the defense has really had to be on point against the Vipers.
Ball out the back.
Option. You want the
Now it's the
scrum?
question of options. They take the center scrum as the ball is unplayable from the kickoff. Look at the fitness of the referee getting right to the line. Got to be prepared before the players. We love the energy from our conductors of this orchestra, making sure that the music stays beautiful and consistent as we set up for a scrum. Just under 5 minutes left in this first half, and it's been a lot of offense from the Vipers, a lot of defense from Northshore. As we have 3.5 minutes, as clarified by the referee.
Together, drive together.
As the team in purple prepare for the scrum.
Coach! Bind. Improper bind.
Improper bind. He's already gave him a correction. They made a mistake, and he's going to short arm free kick. As now the Vipers are on attack again. Big collision. Have a seat, please, ma'am. And again, the Vipers are pushing and pressing forward, continuing to put on an onslaught of physicality throughout the course of this game. Another missed tackle, broken tackle by Northshore.
Yep.
And the ball is stolen. Emma steps up again, scored the try, keep the conversion, and getting the steal back for Northshore. And you can hear the crowd's reaction. This is technically as close to a home game as Northshore can get in this round of the playoffs. And with a win here, can find himself back here in 2 weeks as the crowd reacts loudly on the tackle. Ruck isn't there to preserve the ball over the top, and that steal gives Northshore another opportunity to attack here. As the ball is played over the top. Ball is touched, but backwards, says the referee, as they play on. Northshore able to keep the ball in bounds. As the Vipers defensive line presses up, closing the space. Chicago plays out the back. There might be space on the edge, but the inside help, able to fling and swing, not get away, but at least slow down this Northshore attack. Because now Northshore has to plunge players into that ruck to secure. Bouncing back the opposite way. Tips pass, able to keep the play going.
Louder, I can't hear you.
And now the leg drive from Chicago puts them a little bit forward.
Purple 9 offside.
Offside advantage called, and it looks like from the help of the AR, as we also have another not rolling away.
You have an infringement here? Okay, you have an option green, 9 offside or tackler
Not
rolling
away.
Over here, thank you.
So they'll take the first offsides As the
Sydney, help me with the
referee team have clear communication here,
You're on the
Darian, and they figure out exactly what needs to be called as the options are given for the Chicago North Shore side.
9. Offside.
A lot of options here after the Utah Vipers committed repeat infringement. So referee Dan Frankenfeld is going to go ahead and give them the option. Farnan elects to boot it down the way and use the line out. They don't want to scrum against the Utah Vipers after multiple times getting some scrum penalties against them, Chicago North Shore.
Yep.
So the only other option that they have is to either tap in the middle of the field, which against a tough side is a heavy ask, or pin the Utah Vipers down in this end. And it's a smart decision to go down. Now the hard part, they've got to win the line out against the Vipers.
Front pod options seem to be not in the works, unable to get it to that deeper lifting pod, and now Utah is on attack, running forward. The line is there for the offloads, again with another offload. That's fair, says the referee, and stolen by Green.
Timing's good, not on the ball.
As Chicago North Shore able to bend but not break. Referee asking players to get back on their side, as now it's a great opportunity for the steal, and the ball is knocked on and the tackle. The Vipers defense going up, and that is halftime. Darian, so much happening, but we'll take a break here. Vipers holding a 17-7 lead over Chicago North Shore here in the D1 final of the Northern Region.
Growing up in Mississippi, my prayer was, for as long as I can remember, God, use me. Use me, use this life. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that there is a vision for my life that is greater than my imagination can hold. Use me, use me. What would you have me to do? And that dream, that desire, that prayer brought me somehow to television.
And she's gonna learn that this life will hit you hard in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams and opportunities worthy of their promise, if we want to give them that sense of limitless possibility, that belief that here in America, there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it, then we must work like never before.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Movements for peace when all seems lost. Together, I do believe it is part of the American mission to ensure that people everywhere, women and men alike, finally have the opportunity to live up to their own God-given potential.
It's huge. There's limitations. There's been greater limitations before my involvement, which has stopped some athletes from being able to chase their dreams and having to go and fulfill a 9-to-5 job just to live, really.
So in life, you know, there are moments when you stop and ask yourself, how did I get here? Like, why am I standing here? Girls have the power to change the world. It is a fact. There's a really, really beautiful quote that I read recently, and I think it's absolutely appropriate to explain what I'm trying to say today. The hand that rocks the cradle, the procreator, the mother of tomorrow, a woman shapes the destiny of civilization. Such is the tragic irony of fate that a beautiful creation such as a girl child is today one of the gravest concerns facing humanity.
Tell me about your experience with RCT so far.
Well, I think my experience can be best described as really fun and community bonding because I meet so many new people playing the sport I love.
I wrestle and I play football, and there's nothing like rugby. You know?
Yeah, everybody that I've ever met that tries rugby just comes to one practice has ended up liking it. And I asked her like what it was, and she said like full contact, like same rules, guys and girls, and I didn't believe her. And then she was like, oh, come out to our practices. And I did, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to play. And then I started playing, and it was really fun.
I don't know, it's just a game that I love. It's pretty fun though, I don't know, I just love everything about it.
It's the laid-back atmosphere of it. We all be friends on the field and off the field.
Just the bond and the vibe from everybody is nice and builds like a lot of character.
You should play it. Play rugby. That's it.
Like how we can like beat fun of each other in the game, but then we like come together after and we're just like shake hands.
Well, what do you think that is? Why is that?
I personally think it's like, it's just, we're all one community, like it's one family. You all play rugby, it's just one family.
It's a sport.
Yeah,
because if you have to have respect for the person going after you because you work hard and they have to work just as hard after you.
So you say that respect is probably the greatest value you can gain out of this game?
By far. Yeah. By far.
The RCT out here has been amazing. I came out here because I know that all the states out here have some great youth rugby, and I was not disappointed in any way. So saw some amazing action out here from both young men and young women, and it's looking pretty bright for our future here.
And what's your favorite part about playing rugby?
I really
And welcome back to the 2026 Northern Super Regional for the Club Rugby 15's National Championship. Chicago Northshore down 10 points to the defending champion Utah Vipers. And Darian, so much has happened in this first half. So many highlights, so many big hits, so many big runs. You got to look forward to the second half thanks to some of the things we've seen in the first.
Chicago Northshore is definitely having to be a little bit creative against a very tough Vipers side. I mean, time and time again, we saw the Vipers really look to take the contact. They're not shying away from it. Absolutely fearless. When they've got ball in hand, they're looking to drop the shoulder. Chicago Northshore as well, struggling with the body height contest. Probably went back and talked about it and made that a goal going into the second half here. But both teams right now in a little bit of penalty trouble because of the high body height. Both teams are going to have to drop the shoulder and get really low if they don't want to go ahead and sit in timeout for about 10 minutes.
And winner of this game advances to the Final Four. This is essentially a national quarterfinals match as, again, the initiative from this Utah Viper side continues to hold strong, not rolling away, which I'm sure is something that was on the referee's mind throughout this first half, something they had to fix and talk about with his referee team in a second. As Northshore just a little bit late getting out of those rucks. As the ball stays in the play, and Chicago Northshore are now on attack. Tackle made right around the 50-meter line. And now Northshore are able to bring the chaos back to the Vipers. Great body position. And just like that, Vipers get a steal. What an amazing bit of play from Etta the hooker. And now it looks like we'll have a conversation with the captain here.
Starting to hear some chat from your players. If you have a concern, please let me know. But we got to play the game.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, referee just not happy with the back chatter here. I mean, at the end of the day, the call still stands. So there's save your breath for the next play rather than saving it for the complaints. Referee's already made the call, so you've got to go ahead and roll with it and adapt and just think about the next job. It's unfortunate and it is frustrating at times, but it's important to not give the back chatter. You don't want to give a bad rap to the referee, especially after you've already committed a penalty. So the Shannon Woolley, leader of the Utah Vipers side, goes for the boot, and Etta Mailu will be the one to throw it in for the Vipers.
Vipers ever so careful going to front pod, but that makes it clean through. And now the Vipers continue the leg drive. I believe that's Alexandria showing Brewster showing that she's a cruiser herself. And now the ball is available in the back. Kelly, pick and go. 3 Northshore.
Away green.
Only way to bring such a devastating ball carrier down. And now Utah running that line back against the grain. Inside help not there and able to gain meterage.
Yeah.
Kavita able to get close and a penalty right in front of the sticks. Does Utah take the 3 points, or do they quick tap and try to make the most of it? They go quick, and now they're going right back into the heart. And a try from Ada Malua. Able to get the steal earlier to get the ball back for the Vipers, and now hard charge and run to extend this lead.
Not getting out of the way. When the ball's available,
A lot of these infractions happening for Chicago Northshore because they're having to soak tackle a lot of this contact. We even see here Azeta Milo, she just continues to pump the legs. It's really the fight and the tackle that the Utah Vipers have that's really the secret sauce here. Watch as she takes it to the line and continues to pump the legs through, gets low as she dives over the try line, and then is able to go ahead and get 5 more points on the board there. The body height kind of getting better for Chicago Northshore, but the not rolling penalties, just kind of taking the contact because they're not launching, is really stalling them on the roll-away.
Said her job is a carrier, and I think her job on the rugby field is a carrier as well, taking the defenders and carrying her all the way to the try line on multiple carries. And again, is the team in purple bringing the noise. Just massive runs by this Viper side, and it could become this demoralizing the more you have to try to stop such a determined side as the Vipers there.
What's the number?
Yeah, a lot of fight back and forth between the two sides.
As now the kickoff is up, choosing to go deep. Last one played out the back. This one gathered right around the 5-meter line. And with a chance at a free run, 3 defenders from Northshore forced to be engaged in that tackle. The try scorer rewinds, finds her space, and goes right into this Northshore side. Northshore forced to really put everything into these tackles. No one's going down easy. Another strong carry by the Vipers. Northshore able to get low and finally stop the surge by the Vipers, and that counter ruck would have been fine. But again, a player near the ruck just making it hard for them to resource the ruck and play it out.
So we got a player on the wrong side, and it prevents them from playing the ball. This is now a repeated infringement.
So was the player not rolling where? Or her?
Yes. Yeah, so it's on the wrong side. Heard, yep, thank you. Rolling.
And Rossman looks like she was just a little bit slow to roll on out of there, so she's going to have a seat now for about 10 minutes, and Chicago Northshore, unfortunately, going to have to play with the player down.
And that's the last thing you want as Kelly, another strong carry. And, I mean, you just got to watch out for her when she gets the ball. The dummy's there, able to flip it over again, but unable to make it to hand. As again, Utah is wheeling and dealing the ball left and right. And you can see they're having a good time joking and laughing. Everything was right. You just got to catch the ball.
You got the mark.
And now Northshore has an opportunity.
If I know what that conversation probably looks like with Milo.
So let's get the new.
I know that it's all laughs. Looks like
Sydney.
One of their hardest
Would you
runners,
start a
Tatiana Kelly, is going to go ahead and
timer,
have a
of
seat.
real
Looks
time,
like
or they've
referee
got it?
is also
Valerie's got it?
deeming it a little bit unsafe. She's going to sub off for blood.
Thank you.
And the Utah Vipers are going to have to send in a replacement.
Okay. Yes, we need someone coming on for that. They've got it? Okay.
He's our prop.
Yes. Kind of important for the scrum. All right.
Over here, Stu.
Losing a prop, everyone has to wait a bit until they find a replacement to make sure the safety in this scrum is
number 3. Is that the one that just went off?
paramount.
Form right to your head. Okay, I didn't see that. Thank you for the number. I'll let both the ARs know that player's off, and that's the second allegation.
Looks like Anderson might have
Thank
gone
you.
ahead and dropped a little bit of a seed there in Frankenfeld's head about Tatiana Kelly, who's coming off for a blood sub, just to be mindful of the point of contact. But hard reset button here. 7-24. Vipers are on top. And North Shore right now is trying to find these little seams in the defense.
Under.
Under her arm?
Yes.
Okay. Hold. Come on. Hold.
Set!
Now they lean into that scrum. And we can see if they still maintain the power after that prop sub. And again, forcing a penalty.
3:18,
This
hands in
Utah
the
Vipers scrum is continuing to devastate Chicago North Shore as now the Vipers are on attack. Low tackle, but pulled back into the underneath the ruck. And a quick tap from the Vipers. Unintentional. Referee doesn't do for more, just a penalty. As a form tackle low, able to stop the Vipers in their track. But they just reload, reset, and recharge. And they're right back into the Chicago North Shore's defense. The timing of that run, just perfect. Forcing this North Shore defense to soak players into those tackles. And now the ball is played out wide. And our earlier try scorer with many celebrations here in the chat of this YouTube live celebrating, but ball pulled out in the tackle, and when it looks like Viper will have a chance to extend, Chicago North Shore picked the opportune time to get the ball back, as now they choose to swing it out wide.
Wait,
Emma,
number 4, great stop! Thank you!
To get to the kick, and that kick is gathered right around the 10-meter line. Kicker meets ball carrier and does what you can to bring her down, but taking a lot of contact in order to do so. As another Finn puts a player on the ground, and North Shore is really trying to bring some of these Vipers down. Ball lost in the tackle, and immediately when it looks like again the Vipers were going to go in to score, Chicago finds an opportunistic turnover, and we'll have a scrum right around the 7-meter line.
Scrum green.
It's a really good passage of play that comes in. It kind of gives a beautiful fend and then continues to get the offload. Melee is there, and then with the one-handed offload, with the step run back inside, she connects well, but it's this contact, the low body height that comes in from Chicago North Shore to get that turnover. And so now they'll go ahead and reset it scrum time.
Yep.
To keep it in?
Nope. Feet is fine. Yes. Crouch.
Now we set up for another scrum. Blood time. Has no blood sub has no bearing on how dominant this Utah Viper scrum is. Substitute comes in, immediate penalty, and now with the Chicago North Shore put, can they preserve ball here? Able to dig it out from the back of that scrum and get it out of there, and flying into the tackle. It is dangerous to be on the tracks with some of these Vipers flying in for the hit. Well in control, but just so physical on attack here. North Shore inside step, can't get away from that inside help though. As they finish the ruck, and now Utah trying to space the field. No one's on the outside edge to really make maximum to that space that North Shore was able to collect, as the Vipers defense is able to be set and settled, covering those A-gaps really well, and chasing into the try line. Tried to block the kick. It looks like Fernan was able to juke and dodge, keep the ball away, and then kick to touch. Amazing bit of play. And now we'll have a line out for the Vipers here, Darian.
Very evasive stuff, and it's also very impressive the way that Farnan was able to maintain the composure
Purple half
deep
step.
down within the end, and then being able to get the kickoff and just relieve some of that pressure. Now the Vipers will have a little bit more to go here, and they've got to make sure that this line out is perfect.
Option
Chicago
line out
North
is
Shore
done.
have contended well, and they are successful here, because now they'll have the
line out.
option.
Green.
And now it looks like more substitutions on the way. We'll try to get that information for you as it comes in.
14 purple. Replacement. All right.
It looks like Malu is being replaced. I didn't get a number on the substitute, but when I get a chance, I'll make sure to share that with you. Chicago is able to get their own line out, and with hands moves the ball to space, but stiff tackle made. And now Chicago is trying to recycle back on that outside, choosing to go to the kick. Able to be gathered by the Vipers cleanly. And now the Vipers turn around on attack. That's Dallas McKee going in to make that carry. Whipping pass all the way out to space. They choose to double pass it out. Ball tipped on the touch. Unable to be gathered cleanly and knocked on the tail end of that. And now we'll have a scrum for Chicago North Shore.
Yeah, it looks like Woolley was under a little bit of pressure there with the Chicago North Shore coming up and really trying to cut off that last option. If she had gotten the ball away, I think that the Utah Vipers would have found a lot of meters gained, but just the pass goes a little bit backwards and behind the shoulder. Looks like that might be for Nicole Fraser, but we'll confirm numbers here soon as they look to reset.
Crouch.
And still about 30 minutes left to go here in the second half.
Set.
Set in. There's an early push, and now we have a free kick for North Shore. Finally, the scrum betrays the Vipers, who've been controlling the entire game. 2 tackles broken here. As Lauren Hennick able to carry the ball out to space, get the offload away. And there's an advantage still being held here. But they choose to call that whistle. And there's a foul play. And now the assistant referee have a conversation here.
In that ruck, I had purple 2
Yep.
with a closed fist, but her hand was on the floor supporting her weight. She
Yeah.
closed her fist, pulled it up, and passed a North Shore player's face with contact. So it wasn't a punch, but it was a drawback with a closed fist.
Okay. So I'm going to repeat what I heard. We got player on the ground, then closing fist, drawing into, right, so clear penalty against purple 2.
Yeah.
I'm thinking yellow card.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Purple number 2.
And as you can see in the picture on the bigger screen,
Yeah.
pulled and
after
grabbed
supporting your
like
weight,
on the
you've
way
got
back
closed
up.
fist and then striking across their face. The decision is yellow card. So 10 minutes and see you soon.
Yeah, spotted by the AR there, and with good communication and the discernment from
Time is off.
Frankenfield, they're going to go ahead and have Etta Mailu take a seat for a closed fist on the ground. And Chicago North Shore now, both sides playing with 14
Captain,
apiece.
You do have option. Penalty, free kick. Captain, penalty or free kick? Thank you.
Electing to take the penalty, and now Chicago North Shore needing some points here to get back in this match, but with a player down, there's no better opportunity. Line break, able to get through, forcing this Utah defense to have the resource, and they might have a chance here as the knock on, as soon as they had a little forward momentum, Fernan, who's been leading from the front, unable to keep control of the ball. And now this Utah Vipers side will get a chance to reload and put effort back in for themselves.
Farnan almost gets by there and is able to get some more meters, but just takes the hand off of the ball for just a split second there. All set up, though, by the line break, by the replacement, Al Eschenbrenner, for them to get that go forward and to find those moments of hope here. And right now, the Vipers playing without Etta Mailu, who's the hooker for the side. So we'll see what the scrum holds.
Utah sets up, ball play clean. Queen throwing that dummy, running a few players over, and it looks like they have control of the ball still. But Chicago Northshore being very contentious in those rucks, choosing to go right back to the heart of this Northshore defense. And Utah unable to get positive meterage for once, but return fire again and unable to keep possession of the ball. Chicago, after the knock on, has possession deep in that ruck.
Thank you.
And now they have an opportunity to attack themselves. Big collision as Northshore tries to plunge forward, choosing to go to the kick. Ball takes a Northshore bounce and immediately tackled by Fernan, but immediately ball is repossessed and replayed, recycled by Dallas McKee. And now Utah has an opportunity to gain some space. Hard charging run by Brewster. And they continue to bring the noise into the tackles, into the tacklers. Positive tackle for Chicago Northshore, able to drive the ball carrier back. And with a catch, turn, and kick, they kick the ball to the edge. And Utah able to keep possession. They have space out there. Right foot step allows her to get away from the defense as Mooley is able. But immediately Chicago Northshore able to get the steal. Referee says play on. And finally Northshore has more momentum. Ball offloaded off the deck. Do they have the speed to get to the edge and score? They do. And Chicago Northshore returns fire after a back and forth battle. Rachel Grecki able to get points for Chicago.
I had turnover good, and I said it.
Grecki gets over 5 points on the board, and that's the first 5 that they've scored. It was all set up off of this quick ball that came in from the replacement Al Eschenbrenner. She connects well with Sarah Berry, and then from there just leaves it up on a silver platter for Grecki to get it. Berry runs, takes it to ground, and then just looks up, is looking for the offload, and none other than Grecki is there to go ahead and get this over. Chicago Northshore now find themselves back into this game after yellow card, and it looks like they might be possibly back to full strength. You've got to wonder how much time is left on the Northshore card, as the Vipers still have a ways to go on theirs.
Yeah, and a 12-point disadvantage turned to a 10-point disadvantage can mean so much. Kick is up, and with the noise from the crowd and the flags raised high, we have added 2 points. And now we have a 14-24 matchup. Vipers still holding a 2-possession lead. And you gotta love the way they score. Defense turns to offense, and everyone is there, a resource, and there's communication. Everything they needed at that moment, Chicago Northshore got. You see the celebration in the background. But this Utah side has never been one to cower after giving up points.
Perfect.
Chicago Northshore might find themselves against an unrelenting opposition after scoring those points. And you're right, they got back to full strength. It's now the 15-on-14 advantage for Northshore after scoring that try.
Yeah, the name of the game off of a turnover is always the quickness of which we can move the ball away from the pressure area there. She recognized that nobody was folding. It was a bit slow for the Vipers. They didn't expect for that turnover to go that way. And then just easy offloads between the Chicago Northshore side.
Kickoff easily contained by Northshore, choosing to go right into the Viper defense. Ball recycled and played, and they have a long way to go to get to that try line. Ball played on the ground in the ruck. And now Northshore going with the quick tap, running right into chaos, and it looks like the Vipers might have a chance at the ball, and they do. Able to get the steal. And immediately Shannon Woolley said, let's slow it down, as she gives the ball to Taki.
She looks around to her more than eager forwards who are ready for the ball, asks them to slow it down and then just go ahead and run it on up.
It's available.
And bringing the force in the tackle. The Vipers again continue to charge forward, but unable to gather that pass. And she says, my bad. Her teammates immediately say, no worries.
You can hear the collisions from up here in the booth. You can hear them through the microphones here as she tries to run the smashing line in, and then bodies just go all over the ball because right now the name of the game is possession. Without the ball, it's hard to get over the line here. And Chicago North Shore, they need more of it, and the Vipers need to stop them from getting it. They're still playing with a player down, which means that it's quite the feat if they can maintain possession and not allow North Shore to score. It was the one time that they did here in the second half was whenever they were down a player.
Powerful scrum again from this Utah side, but the ball spills out, so the referee says play on. Able to keep ball in possession for North Shore. Big Finn on the edge, and North Shore is going down that far side touchline where they just scored recently and pushed out of bounds right in front of the Utah Vipers bench. And you hear the energy from that sideline. You gotta love playoff rugby, and you gotta love how both teams are giving it their all.
Getting caught a little bit high, though, was Brewster. I mean, she tackles Eschenbrenner out of bounds, and that's going to generate the turnover. But with referees, I mean, being continuously mindful of the high tackle, it's a little bit borderline. It looks like primary playmaker, Quinette Pepe Tumalatai, is getting tended to on the sideline there.
We're starting in about 15 seconds or make a replacement.
Queen is down, but soon Quinette will be up. As players tell her, you got to get up or they're going to send you off.
I think Pepe just needed a second win. Yeah, she just needed a second. She's been doing a lot out there with all the dummies. I think she just needed a second to get back up.
Ball recovered off the top of that line out. And the Queen, first touch of the ball, moves it wide. The defensive line from Chicago able to shut them down. Get negative meterage. Ball put out in the tackle. Referee says we continue. The Chicago North Shore getting low on these hits. They found a better way to approach some of these Utah Vipers as they charge forward. But so much can be said about this Viper side who continues the onslaught. The blood time comes back. Kelly driving and grinding forward as they move past the 50-meter line, continuing to bring the pressure from the forwards as time ticks off of that yellow card. They are missing one of their featured players, and when she's back, who knows the energy she's going to bring. It might be the catalyst to push this game further away from North Shore as the Vipers continue to drive forward. Players rolling away, getting away from that, but now Utah
away green
again, using those forward pods to bash into this Chicago North Shore line. And when they play the balls in the back, this is not any easier as they do continue to drive forward, playing the ball into space. Vipers again able to play it out, but the ball is knocked on in the tackle, says the referee, and we'll have a scrum down to the Vipers put.
Green sub is good. I have one.
Many times we saw the Vipers go ahead and get the run up. It's important for Chicago North Shore to not just come up on the launch, but to also, whenever they're dropping the body height, to not get caught flat-footed. We're seeing the Vipers really be able to drop a shoulder and put Chicago North Shore on their backs, literally, just because of the core foot placement. They've got to go ahead and, as the launch is coming, explode through the contact, get the leg drive going. The more flat-footed they get, the harder the collision is going to be. They've got to continue launching, and they've got to continue to use the leg drive on through that launch.
Ball is played into the back of that scrum. It looks like the Vipers will move the ball. First receiver running right into multiple Chicago North Shore players. No need for any deception. Physicality is ruling the moment as, again, multiple defenders melting off the tackle as Manua continues to drive forward inside of the 22-meter line. And the ball thrown over the top. Opportunity to take the tackle, but just can't find Nicole Frazier. As now North Shore able to put it 5, and this ball is back live again, opting to the quick line out, not allowing this Viper side to reset. Vipers had a chance at the ball, but right to the ground, says the referee. And North Shore, instead of going to the line out, decide to go quick. They need to keep the ball in play. From there, they go to the kick, loft it over. North Shore might be able to get this back, and they do. And the kicking game has been yielding positive dividends for this North Shore side as they continue to use it to get forward, trying to close that gap on the outside, stepping up, leaving a little bit of space for North Shore to execute through. And North Shore continues to keep the ball in motion. That pass, as Doom impended, able to get them a little bit more forward, and we have an advantage for high tackle as now North Shore seems to be putting the initiative forward. That left foot, right foot step, able to slow down a few defenders, looking to close the space. Looks like we still have advantage on the high tackle, and the referee is going to go to that high tackle.
Do you have head contact at the previous call? Okay, so you have penalty there or penalty here, green? Captain? And,
Looks
Captain?
like we've got two infringements now against the Utah Vipers, and this is whenever we might start to see the discipline start to drop a little bit. You see the Utah Vipers slowly walking back, so it's an offsides call. And so there's two different advantages. You probably want to go with the one that gets you closer to the try line, and they do. Because now they'll get set by Heineck for this play.
One more step.
And you can see he asked that question to this AR as the yellow card is back, I believe. We might be even. Let me double check. I don't see anyone sitting on the chairs. So now we're back to even Steven. And just asking that AR was their head contact. He's really worried about the safety of the game. It's important that you keep those tackles low because that would have resulted in the yellow. As now Chicago North Shore plays it back inside. Opportunity to cut through, but not there. Just dragged down as we're entering the fourth quarter of this regional final. Opportunity to make it to the Final Four. Both teams fighting hard. Chicago North Shore needs points at its earliest convenience to get themselves back after now being down in a two-possession game. Chicago North Shore picking and going, keeping bodies close to the ruck. And offsides is called. A quick tap is used, and now North Shore using that 10-meter advantage to back up Utah. Utah continue to play stifling defense, and the whistle again looks like it might be not rolling away.
And captain.
And Kelly is having a conversation.
In a short period of time. Yeah, I'm explaining the call. Okay. So this is side entry at the ruck. It's too many infringements, team penalty, yellow card.
Oh, and referee just tired of having to keep on telling the Utah Vipers to get on side to roll out of the tackle there. Tatiana Kelly, who just got back off of the blood stub, has to go back and have a seat. And the last time that they got a card, North Shore were able to score. We've still got less than 20 minutes in this half. It's still an achievable point differential.
Tackle made, and we might have a high tackle. And this right here could be another card.
Captain.
And is that the yellow card from earlier? Could this?
Knock it off! That's bad rugby! Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll keep it short, right? Same thing, too many. Okay.
Feeling like the Utah Vipers are starting to lose a little bit of composure here as North Shore seem to be settling in. It's kind of been the Utah Vipers' kryptonite. So as Captain Woolley just said, they need to calm it down. They've got to be able to find a way to discipline themselves. As North Shore now are playing with 15 against 13 players.
And they go to the kick again, which has been opportunistic for them. Ball gathered just short of the try line. Looks like they're keeping it out. But look at that counter ruck. And a try given. The ball is inside the try zone. Hands on the ball. There's no offsides if the ball is in the try zone. So North Shore, after getting the gift of 2 yellow cards back-to-back, now put the game within 5 with a conversion to come here.
Right here is all set up with the kick. It looks like it came from Anderson there and just flooding over the top of Chicago North Shore. They do lose their footing there. Farnan gets toppled over, but then it's the relentless pursuit that comes in for Chicago North Shore, just continuing to get over the line here. And then referee sees, hands over the ball by Rossman after a good counter ruck. We'll take a look here, maybe get you a better angle. Counter ruck comes in. Ball's a little bit tough to see from this angle. Might have been that Farnan was still on the ground, though.
Yeah, that's Farnan still on the ground, but that's a non-issue. The ball is in the try zone. There's no offsides when the ball is in the try zone. I mean, you can't really be offsides in the try zone. It's a dead ball area. Put her hands on the ball. That counts as a try. It's just what it is.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Ball going across of the face of the goal, as now the Vipers holding on to a 5-point lead. Still have 2 yellow cards out right now. And you just got to imagine, by the time the 72nd minute comes along, they're going to have 2 players back on the field because they give them the surge and energy they need, because Chicago North Shore has all of the momentum here.
14. Valerie, repeat. Okay.
You're over here.
So they missed that last one.
Referee just documenting who made that try here as they get set, but 5 points now separating the two sides after Chicago North Shore have clawed their way back into this match against the Vipers. A lack of discipline right now, really shooting themselves in the foot, and they're going to have to, when they get possession, maintain it as best as they can. But Chicago North Shore, I mean, they're really using every tool in the tool belt to get the turnovers, to maintain the possession, and find those special seams along the defensive line.
Tackle made, release, and regather. Unfortunately, hands on the ground. That was a good opportunity to steal, but hands on the ground gives Chicago North Shore another chance at the apple. And now North Shore goes right back and gets absolutely rocked, unable to keep possession. The ball keeps trickling forward and out of bounds. Now Utah able to get the line out prepared here.
Showing a little bit of pop here. We see just the ball isn't really the right decision there. She's under a lot of pressure. Probably could have used some footwork here, but then just the lack of control that comes in from the Vipers. Ball hits the deck a few times, and Chicago North Shore is able to get over the top of it. They just get so close to that sideline. She slides into bounds, and so now the line out will go in favor of the Vipers.
And this throw in so crucial. North Shore able to get possession.
Towards purple.
Not straight, but in the opposite direction.
Not straight.
So now we'll have options here.
Okay.
Referee discussing what's going on.
No. Okay. Scrummer line up. Okay, line up.
And it's smart for Anderson to go ahead and elect the line out for Chicago North Shore. They've done well. The only thing is that they are running the line out now with a replacement. It looks like she might have just come on as well. It's a heavy ask to have your hooker replacement come on and make those throws. But Chicago North Shore are now having to bring in those players that inject the energy that they need to get them to the finish line. And this is crucial.
Phoebe Caldale, number 24, a member of the Next Level Rugby crew, still playing the game. As now the Vipers are back with the surge, moving forward, continuing to bring that forward charge. Smart for them to play it slow. They are down 2 players. If you can just find a way to milk 5 minutes off the clock off pick and goes and still go forward, is a net positive. As finally North Shore able to stop that forward progress. Ball played out the back. And it looks like the Vipers might have had a shot to get around, but North Shore moving players away from the ruck, and the replacement sub immediately makes an impact, gets the steal, and now Phoebe's off to the running. Gets the offload away on her way down, and now North Shore might have a chance to get around the corner here. Oh, this match is turning out to be an absolute classic as she is hit out of bounds on the edge. And Utah able to find a way to bend but not break. As this match continues to unfold, we are getting so many classic moments. Subs coming in, making impacts, and big hits to stop forward momentum, Gary.
And it seems like Chicago North Shore are finally able to find each other. And now that the defense has gotten a little bit slower from the Vipers, they're not coming up in those passing channels as consistently. It's just allowing for more options to open up for them as North Shore seem to be stringing along phases. And so now all they've got to do is try and get possession away from the Vipers, which they do at that line out.
Turnover's good.
Jersey tackle slung and pulled down, but a turnover as Utah finds a way to get their hands back on the ball, and there's space on the top of your screen. Can they find the edge? And they do. Right foot step. Everyone able to get away from the defense, but Utah able to settle down, resource, and as much time ticks on the clock with this lead for Utah, the more positive it is because they have 2 players in the sin bin in the doghouse, and once they get back, the Dogs will be back on the loose. 2 strong players who have been carrying a lot of weight for this side are in the sin bin, but they don't need them at the moment because we have a line break choosing to go right into the heart of the fullback. Amazing break by Sandy Canch, and immediately Utah able to resource the ball and get back on the attack, going to the far side. Now they're back to slowing it down just a bit, choosing to go from the base of the ruck. The Queen attacking with tenacity, swung and dragged down. Amazing bit of play as now they continue to go forward. Utah, every time they continue to keep ball in hand, not worry about offloads, they get positive meterage. They're such a chore to tackle as they continue now to keep possession. 5-point lead, only thing separating both teams in this match. Ball thrown wide, and it takes a weird spin in the air. And Emma choosing to chase over the line. It didn't hit anything or anybody, so now we can play quick if they choose, and Chicago Northshore does just that. Referee is being ran ragged left and right as both teams playing with speed. As now Northshore decides to bounce back in the direction they came. There's space there. The 2-player advantage showing itself as now a tackle is made, and it's a high tackle, and he might just call something. It looks like he'll let it just be a yellow card. No head contact, he says, just level.
Yep, number 19.
Now Utah.
Advantage.
Another advantage card. And now Northshore able to step. Not enough players on defense as they have this advantage, but Utah continues tenaciously chasing and punching the ball out at the very end before they can go in the score. Alexander Brewster able to save the Vipers from giving up 5 points here.
Whoa, there's so much to unpack. As far as Chicago Northshore being able to get this far over the line there, it's just a matter of them continuously going quick. Looks like, though, the hand might have gotten a little bit too much over the shoulder. Brewster comes across and then makes some contact, though, with Chicago Northshore's players, Grecky. And we'll have a scrum down going in favor of Chicago Northshore.
And that bit at the very end, Brewster saving the day. Even though we'll have a scrum here, I believe they chose it from the infraction that happened a second ago. Chicago Northshore, 10 minutes to go in this match. Have to find a way to score 5 to tie this match. Utah
or back. Set.
Has to find a way to keep them out of this try zone at this moment. Big collision. It looked like she was able to take the ball on the way down. Utah has the ball here. And unfortunately, I don't think Dan seen it clearly. Looked like the ball was taken and tackled. But now Northshore able to go back on attack. Penalty advantage card. And now Northshore is trying to creep and crawl into the try zone. Tackle made it to 5-meter line. Multiple players from Utah are stuck in the tackle, not rolling away as the call. And with the numbers advantage here, Chicago Northshore can push and pry their way into the try zone. But no, Utah, ever so strong in defense, holds up. But they still have this penalty advantage. As now the referee has to go to the reverse side as we go into a pick and go match. Another high tackle, and that one might end up being a card. As the referee now has to have a conversation with his assistant referee, and this might be a changing moment. Quick conversation, and we'll see what they come up with here.
So, for the yellow card that's about to happen, we have head contact. It's an upright tackler. It's a medium degree of danger, and there's no mitigation. There's a clear line of sight. Okay. And captain, we also had number 15 right there with a late hit, and then number 10 not rolling. So I'm reiterating the same message. You're under pressure. Infringements here are cards.
Referee about fed up with the infractions that Chicago or Utah Vipers are now committed. I'm wondering if they're all trying to get a piece of the cheese here. Now Chicago Northshore are definitely playing to a hard advantage.
All right, and your mark is on the 5.
And now with the 2 yellow cards coming back, they get a surge of energy but are still down a player thanks to the high tackle inside of the 5-meter line. The referee might treat every penalty from now on for the rest of the game as a yellow card offense, no matter what the circumstances are. And Chicago Northshore goes for the quick tap, choosing to go behind, running a smoke ghost line with the forwards. And the space is on the top of your screen, ladies and gentlemen. The sub choosing to give the ball on the loop, and a one-on-one tackle needs to be made out on the edge, and it is. Ball played on the inside.
Take a step.
And now Chicago Northshore are just inches away from an opportunity to make it to the Final Four. Playing the ball through the hands. Utah able to make the tackle, but do they have enough to continue to play this level of defense that they played throughout the match? Ball played to the edge, has to stay wide to keep the space, but can resource the ruck, and a pick and go around the corner. Get Chicago Northshore to try to tie it up at the 73-minute mark here in the Northern Region Finals. Maria Bashmakovich able to get the try.
We'll go ahead and keep the time running for you guys, but it was all Chicago Northshore that was able to set up this try. Rounding the corner efficiently was Rossman, and then this cheeky look up from Bashmakov. You just see that the Utah Vipers, they're just not able to get the fold around as quickly, and she gets right over the line, gets them to 5, and then this kick lands. I mean, right now we're at a tie ball game. Chicago Northshore, if they slot this in, it's going to be a heavy ask. We'll get the time rolling for you up at the top so that we can get a better idea of how much time is left, but this kick means everything for the two sides.
Yeah, this is the game right here. This is going to determine so much for the future. Emma steps up who might be one of the biggest kicks of her playing career. Does she have what it takes? That kick is up, and it goes across the face of the goal. No good. We are tied 24-24 in the final for the Northern Super Region. Winner represents the Northern Region in the same pitch in 2 weeks for a chance at a national championship. And so much can be said about both these sides.
24-24.
But this North Shore side, ever persistent, punched early in this match, beat to bits going into halftime, but found a resurgence here late in the second half. And with a player down, the Utah Vipers has to find a way to get points on the board to win this match. And now we're back underway with the kickoff, going deep. Ball knocked backwards. Referee's going to say play on, and Chicago Northshore chooses to go down the short side. Tackle is made, and hands on the ball, and immediately, Adam Malou shows up again with a big defensive stop. Last time she did this, she scored a try immediately, and now, when they needed it the most, the Utah Vipers step up in a championship moment. Darian, amazing bit of play, just that fast.
Etta went back to the drawing board and then decided that when she came back, she was going to maintain her weight, and she does it well here again, getting the shoulders over the body in order to make it so that you get pushed back. This picture is crucial. Woolley decides to go for the scrum. It's smart for them to go ahead and do that, as they're really good at pushing that scrum over. But gosh, everybody I know on the stands, if you're watching at home and watching this game, I know that you're standing up or you're out of your seat.
Continued leg drive from this Utah Viper side as they go pick and go after pick and go. And can Chicago Northshore hold the storm? The Vipers are going right into the heart. And just like that, the Vipers return fire and score. And look at the energy from this Viper side. Amazing bit of play, and they're showing their championship medal here.
Okay, do you want to mention it?
Yeah, they know what it means to decide here as they take a walk back. That was the dagger that they needed. It's going to be tough for Chicago Northshore to go ahead and come back from this one as we take a look back at how they got here.
So
pick and go after pick and go. They chipped away. It was the support, though, that came in from the Utah Vipers. They're just a little bit slow to get out from underneath the crushing weight of the ruck time. And so then just diving over continuously. They make the meters. We see here Rossman just getting stuck underneath, and then they're just not able to come across. That's just a bit disconnected around ruck time, and that is what the Utah Vipers need to go ahead and be a little bit more confident here. They'll take the time at the kick.
That's good.
Kick is up, and it is good. A tie game turns into a 7-point lead for the Vipers with short time left at worst. The Vipers could find themselves in overtime, but their defense has been strong. Their ball retention has been even stronger.
Less than a minute.
And just showcasing who they are as a championship team, able to return fire immediately. Chicago Northshore has to find a way to get 7, a try and convert it to even extend this game with the kickoff in the air. Gathered cleanly by the Vipers, able to resource the ruck, protect the ball. And now the Vipers are choosing to go with the pick and go. Dashing forward. No chance for Northshore to get the steal. Again, bringing more players into the ruck area. They're going to take their time here, bring the leg drive, make sure that they're over the top of this ruck, preserve the ball. And this is what championship teams do. They will milk the clock when the time is right to keep possession. As now the Vipers continue to choose the clock, and they go in the kick for a touch. And just like that, with no time left on the clock, your Northern Super Regional D1 champions are your former Division I champions, Utah Vipers, scoring with less than a minute to take the win over Chicago Northshore, 31-24. An amazing match from the ladies, and well-deserved win, as now they prepare to be back here in 2 weeks to defend their D1 National Championship area.
Chicago Northshore, I mean, you got to give props to them. They inched their way back and then left us on the edge of our seats whenever they were able to tie the ball game there in those final bits of the minute. But honestly, the strength of the Vipers was their fight. It was a little bit over the top at times. They're going to have to talk about the discipline there as they enter into championship finals time. They take on Life University here in a few weeks. But honestly, that physicality, the aggression, the grit that they showed, and then to stay in the thick of it was really the bread and butter for them. Chicago Northshore have a lot to be proud of on this season, though. It was just way too much for them to be able to handle, but they stayed in the fight to the very end. The Vipers, though, get another chance to defend their title.
The road to back-to-back coming up as the Utah Vipers take a 31-27 win to take the D1 Northern Region Championship. My name is Lance Cavanaugh. I was joined in the booth by Darian Lovelace. This has been a Next Level Rugby production. We thank you all for tuning in, and we see you in a few weeks for the club's national championship. But not tomorrow, as we have more action to find out who will be joining the Utah Vipers in the championship. We'll see you then.